Welcome, welcome, welcome. Be blessed.
All right. Thank you, Donna. That is such a great welcome. I want to say good night and greetings to you wherever you are listening in, around the world. Tonight, I'm going to just kind of remind us of some things that we are all facing. And if for some reason my video comes off, it is just because of bandwidth issues. As Donna said, we may have some technical difficulties at times. So, in any language, welcome again. I'm going to just kind of remind you of some things that is going on in the world. And let's look at the first one. Right now, the world is talking about a recession. What is a recession? Just a reminder, I know some of you know it. A recession occurs when there are 2 or more consecutive quarters of negative economic growth, meaning GDP growth contracts during a recession. Back in 2008, this gentleman, Ben Bernanke, these are his words, September and October of 2008 was the worst financial crisis in global history, including the Great Depression. In fact, if you look at this picture, this would remind you that this is Lehman Brothers, one of the, actually it's the 4th largest investment bank that actually collapsed back in September 2015. September 15, 2008, sorry. And right now, why am I showing you that? I'm reminding you of what took place back then, and then yet we are still being faced with recession. I want you to listen to what the head of the IMF, what she is actually saying that is taking place right now.
It is now clear that we have entered a recession as bad or worse than in 2009. We do project recovery in 2021. In fact, there may be a sizable rebound, but only if we succeed with containing the virus everywhere and prevent liquidity problems from becoming a solvency issue. A key concern about a long-lasting impact of the sudden stop of the world economy is the risk of a wave of bankruptcies and layoffs that not only can undermine the recovery, but can erode the fabric of our societies. To avoid this happening, many countries have taken far-reaching measures to address the health crisis and to cushion its impact on the economy, both on the monetary and on the fiscal side. The G20 yesterday reported fiscal measures totaling some $5 trillion, or over 6% of global GDP. It is very important for those ahead in taking action to share their experience with those still behind. To support.
All right. So the IMF head is saying that we are in a recession, and she's kind of telling you the kind of fiscal measures, how huge the G20 had to take place. But she's also hinting that some people are ahead. And one of the industries, I'm just going to list a couple of them that we believe that has been hard hit in light of the health issue with the coronavirus. Some of them are airline industry. This should jog your memory, seeing no planes these days ahead of above us. Carbon-based energy sector, cruise operators, food and hospitality, manufacturing, and many more. Another challenge is this one that has come up here, inflation. And what is inflation? Inflation is the increase in the prices of goods and services due to the decrease in the purchasing power of our currency. That doesn't matter which country. It is just what is described there. If you look at the US dollar, the almighty US dollar, you would realize that back in 1913, it was worth more. But come 2019, which is just last year, this chart shows that at the end of last year, it was worth practically a couple cents, about 3 cents. Now, the debt clock, if you go on your Google, this as to the countries in the world and their national debt, you would see that the US of A is actually leading in that over 23 trillion, 912 million. And I want you to note why I'm stressing that figure 912. Last week when I did the presentation, would you believe it was 600 and something? So in a space of 1 week, 300 billion has been added to this figure. And yet inflation continues. Some places it's lower, some places it's higher. And yes, it has social effects. This actually took place in Paris last November 2018, actually. We were there and we weren't able to visit these sites behind because of oil gas prices going up by just 30 cents. So social things, social effects happen. Another challenge has to do with technology, changing really rapidly. Economies of scale, usually devoid of innovation, they depend highly on private parties to drive progress. However, they are on average 5 to 6 years behind advancement, choosing to stay stuck in the old format. So what am I saying? Things are rapidly changing that we sometimes, by the time we think we catch up, we are actually behind. And some of them, this is just a picture of self-driving vehicles. If you had to actually invest in something, I would say some of these vehicles would be good because you have no overheads with staff. You may have some, but minimal, and people won't call in sick. And I would like to show you how it is going. So this little clip, this is taking place amidst what we are experiencing. And I want you to look at it and then you'd understand.
Remember, graduating students in Japan taking a virtual walk across the stage to receive their diplomas. As in most places dealing with rising numbers of the virus, large gatherings have been canceled, as you know, but a business school in Tokyo found a way to give students the recognition they deserve, receiving their degrees as robots, which they controlled from home while video chatting on iPads. Wow. That's such a great idea. You know, a lot of the seniors out there now are wondering what's going to happen to their graduation ceremony. There's an option. It's a little scary. No? Well, at least it's a way for them to experience it. You're right. Everything's new. Everything's new. We got to be open. We got to be open to ideas. That'll do it for 7 years at noon. I'm Alex.
All right. So you notice the young lady said it's a little scary. And that's how we become. And that's how we react when new technology or new innovation come our way. But something had to be done, and these people found a way to actually have people graduate amidst the coronavirus. So they are ahead because they have robots, they have the technology that goes with it. And that leads me to the evolution of money. That's where what we are going to talk about, because money has changed over the years, and we know about bartering in school. You have something, I have something, and we exchange. We also know of gold coins, and this became very risky, very bulky to move around, but it held value. And then we moved to what we know. We know about paper currency, and if you do some history on this, you would realize paper currency is backed by nothing. It is only about the value that we both believe it has, and we accept it. Then we moved on in the banking system where I came from. I remember when the credit cards were coming on board and people were scared, and some are still scared to put their information on the internet. But today you cannot transact business sometimes online without it. It moved on to PayPal, Perfect Money, other digital systems, Apr08, WePay, and so many others that are actually tied to the same card systems and the same platforms that the banks have. But we have gone a step further, and that's what we are doing. And we are showing you about this new technology and this new innovation called cryptocurrency, a real currency. If you look at the footnote here, fiat currency is not backed by any physical commodity, which I mentioned with the paper money. The biggest risk of fiat currency is becoming worthless due to hyperinflation, and that is our reality in many countries. So what is cryptocurrency? Simply put, digital money that uses blockchain technology and cryptography to produce stores of value. It can be utilized as forms of payments for goods and services. The value is not based on any country or central bank, but rather it works like supply and demand, and it behaves more like silver and gold. The technology behind it, blockchain. And what is that? It's digital technology that records and verifies transactions. So people may want to say, but our ledger systems and the systems that we use in the banks may do the same. No, it's quite different. This one is cost efficient. It also helps in tracking and tracing anything of value. And it helps in eliminating attempts of fraud, duplicity, and forgery. Who needs it? Who needs cryptocurrency in the world? Well, there are many people in the world, and according to the World Bank or the statistics, it shows that 2.5 billion is unbanked. But what they have internet, access to internet, and they most likely have a smartphone. And this money can be utilized via those using the phone and the internet. Remittances, this can be as high as 30%. If you go to Western Union, MoneyGram, different other places, and the high cost actually prevents people from actually utilizing it. But with cryptocurrency, as I mentioned before, it helps in reducing the costs for certain transactions. It's global. We can cross borders. We can pay for certain things via the internet. If you're going through customs, everything is digital. You don't have to walk with excess cash and so forth. And it helps in protecting income and wealth, because this kind of money can actually go up and it can help fight inflation. So that's why we need it. And what is the world? What are people saying about it? Well, back in 2016, when we first started, some of us, Donna, many of us on this call and around the world, many people didn't know about it. We were the first two to start talking about it in Trinidad and Tobago, along with many others that came on board. And you know what? People thought we were crazy. But let's not talk about us. Let's look at what the world is saying about it, the very regulatory boards. And this has to do with the G20. The G20 nations at first were saying it's restricted, it's illegal, legal. Everyone has different opinion. But just in a couple months' time, they said they were going to regulate it for anti-money laundering. So it means once you see they're doing this, it means it's coming on board. And they keep reaffirming their positions on it. And there you see this happened last year in Japan, G20 2019 in Japan. Now, I'm going to show you a little video of a professor. And I want you to know he is an author of the book called This Time It's Different. Listen to what he's saying. And let's just hear him.
This time is different, Ken. I mean, the title of your book, a phrase that, always haunts investors. It's never different. I know you looked at the, 8 centuries of financial folly and all the crises and the depression and the economies, but is this time truly different in terms of what we're looking at here when it comes to our economy and our markets?
There have been financial crises that get set in place by some sort of catastrophe, but the global nature of this is really hard to find outside of a war. You might say, at best, this is a combination of the 1970s oil shock, because there's a supply shock, and the 2008 financial crisis, the depth of the demand shock. But really, I think you have to go back at least to the Great Depression and maybe past to see a dive globally of this speed and depth going on all over the world. We didn't really have numbers before the 1930s. It's hard to know, but it's certainly something extraordinary. It's still in play. They're trying to contain the aftermath, the financial crisis, but emerging markets, I think, are certainly going to get cut to their knees already. And it's just hard to know until we know when we're getting out of it, how bad it's going to be in the advanced countries.
You've been critical of sort of ever expanding government deficits and debt piles in the past. Do you think that expanding those at this time is the wrong approach, or do you accept that it kind of doesn't really matter how much it costs in the long term, that you've got to spend the money in the short term when you face a crisis like this?
Oh, I think we're absolutely doing the right thing. The whole point of trying to maintain a sound credit rating and not just, letting your budget debt go in, inexorably high forever. We certainly have a fiscal space, is to be able to respond very assertively in situations like this. We're well placed. Germany is well placed. I think the UK is well placed. Italy is not well placed. Many emerging markets are not. So no, this is a war, and you really can't look at the other side. You have to get to it. Obviously, you want to spend the money sensibly, but I think by and large we are. No, there are many ways to get out of high debts. One of many ways to get out of high debts. So we'll deal with that when we get there.
All right, so I'm going to ask Ivan to just make a little comment at this time.
Okay, so now you see that he wrote that book, and it's two books actually that was on the shelf, The Curse, and this time it's different. And what he is saying is why it's different this time is because before we weren't experiencing a pandemic as such like this, that is affecting all industries, that is affecting all peoples across the world, and is affecting basically every stand and way of life. So he is literally identifying that, listen, if this is different, then we need to do something different to come out of it. And I think that is one of the key takeaways here that we want to identify, that the after coronavirus era will be totally different than the before. And I would advise anyone to get that book and to hear what he's saying. But one of the things that he was going to allude to was getting out of debt, right? Because they were asking him in an earlier interview about the $2 trillion leading to the $6 trillion deficit spending that America would have done. So he is saying, okay, when we reach that point, we will deal with it. But that may not be the best solution, because it will bring other problems as well. So we'll just have to wait and see exactly what will happen. But this is a very telling video of what is actually taking place right now.
So what are we really saying? What we are really saying is that a rise of a new global digital economy is upon us. And the future of payments, we are actually showing you how money is changing. And that's the whole purpose of our presentation tonight.
And actually, it has been basically fast forwarded because of Corona. So this will be our new norm.
All right. So what are we really proposing to you? Why have you been invited to this call, and why do we continually talk this talk and walk this walk? Our proposition is we are saying to become a student. You have to become a student and be re-educated. And where are you going to be re-educated? Well, we have a solution. We have our Oneacademy, which is the heart of our business. And inside of our Oneacademy, there are 4 disciplines you're seeing there. But it just doesn't represent disciplines. It's actually fall into industries that are actually able to survive a recession. Forex, finance, e-commerce, and law. Let's look at them in a little bit more. When you look at the Forex market, it's a 5.1 trillion daily turnover. And as of April in 2019, it went to 6.6 trillion daily. And it's open 24 hours, 5 days a week. If you're trading into the Forex market and you're trading cryptocurrencies, it's open 24/7 for 7 days a week. The thing about it is, regardless, the markets are open and trading. So if I had to say to someone which field or which industry or what job you should, I would say get to learn this new skill and actually become qualified in it, because you can open your laptop in any part of the world at this point in time and continue.
Especially in light of Corona, where everyone is home.
Especially that. So then when you make your money, whether you make $1 million or a little bit, you need to understand finance. This is one of the topics that people really not aware of. You need to understand how to diversify, but not only diversification with the old money system. in the new money system with cryptocurrency, with other emerging trends and so forth. And I want to tell you, just the mere basic level 1 introduction to finance will blow your mind with this.
I want to identify this here because level 1, page 7 said to spur economic growth, the central banks all around the globe introduced extraordinary measures. Now you heard the writer of the book said that really and truly they're addressing the situation. What they're doing is the same thing here, printing more money out of thin air. So they're doing the same thing, hoping to fix the problem that is that much bigger. And so it really cannot work. Again, it's like taking an old plaster and putting it, that was on an old sore, and you're taking it and putting it on a new sore, infecting and making it worse. So it doesn't change. They haven't changed any approach to finance.
And I remind you, even the IMF head said the very same thing with the G20, forming new fiscal measures and putting into the system the $6 trillion. So you also have laws on cryptocurrency, and you need to understand the legal definition, economic evaluation, and much, much more as they go on. So we have that as well, because you need to understand how and what are the rules and laws in different areas and countries. Besides that, we have e-commerce. Now, everybody is on their phones and digital, and with our company, we have what is online advertising. You understand how to become a merchant. You understand buying and selling using the digital currency that we have. And we also help you to see how you can be a part and increase your sales at this present time amidst everything. So we also have, and this I love, is that we have financial education for children. So in a nutshell, Oneacademy covers every basic and how I should say recession-proof industries, because you have the heart-clean education. So how does it work? Really, what you need to do is select an educational package, and with it, something you get called tokens, which is free, but you have to say yes to it. It's a choice. If you say yes, it goes through certain processes as you see there, and it becomes the cryptocurrency that we deal with. And presently, if you saw this presentation last week, it was 29.95 euro. It has now changed to 42.43 euro. So assuming you have 100 euro or 100 of these, it will be worth roughly that figure inside of our system. And this is what we call our economy. We say DealsShaker is our new economy, because it levels the playing field of money and trade. We have merchants all around the world. We have big ticket items being bought and sold on our DealsShaker. And this gives use, and these are some of the businesses in Trinidad. We also have doubles being used, being bought and sold on our platform. You can buy vehicles and so on. Our system, our one ecosystem is usable, it is functional, and it is reliable. It's accepted in 194 countries. We have over 3.6 million users, and we have over 120,000 global merchants. So what is our mission? Our mission is to grow. Like any other company or industry, we would love to grow, and growth is needed. So we would like to become 1 million merchants instead of the 120, and we want to increase our students base to 10 million. And we would love to do that within the next 2 years. If we participate in that, the company says they would give us some commission. So I'm about to wrap up, and I want to just summarize all what I have just said. And basically, it's very simple. We are saying you are in a present economy, you are presently in Trinidad and Tobago, whichever country, earning your regular money. But by becoming a student with us, you have a choice of entering our online university and selecting the disciplines, our university, Oneacademy, where you can decide whichever industry, whichever discipline you would like to participate in. And should you accept what comes with it, which is the tokens, remembering that's a choice, and through the process called mining, which you would learn from the education, it becomes coins that can be used at 42.43 in our new economy, 42.43 euro in our new economy, side by side for Dealshaker. And if you participate by telling others like we are doing, and we have invited so many, the company says they would pay you a commission for promoting and sharing this information because you've benefited. So to us, it's a win-win for Ivan and I. For many of us, it's a win-win situation. And we so love the fact that we are winning that we would like to share it. So the choice is yours. I'm at the end and I am saying you can decide if you would like to remain in the old economy where you have all these other challenges but with very few solutions, or you could become the part of where you have solutions being offered and be a part of it in the new economy. Either way, we say thank you and we welcome you on board because we believe Together for More is the reality of success, unity. So I thank you very much and I pass it back on to our host, Donna Samansing. Thank you.
Michelle, as usual, Ivan and Michelle, as usual, the I Am team, well done, well done. Let me say this. She said something at the very end, and a lot of information was given in between. But she said, many challenges, but no solution. She just offered you a solution to the world issues, to your personal financial issues, a solution where you receive education, where you understand what is happening in the world today, the recession that is on us. Many people are pretending it's not happening, but it's happening just as the moon is in the sky tonight when you look up. Life around us has changed, but there is a solution, and you have just been exposed to it. Please do something about it. We have on our call this evening a Mr. Kelvin Carabai. I would like Mr. Carabai, I hope he's hearing me, to join us. Share some comments from your heart about this business while you're here. You know, what it has done for you and your family. Mr. Kelvin Carabai, a Ruby in the business.
Yes, ma'am, I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Thank you,
A
sir.
blessed good night to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you are. It's really a pleasure to be here tonight to just give you my little take on the whole idea of the Oneacademy and what this whole business has been doing for my family and myself. Actually, I got started in this in August 2016. And a lot of what we are seeing here today didn't exist then. I just got started just through faith, just believing in the vision of Dr. Rudra and understanding what was going to be happening in the future. Over the years, especially since the advent of the Dealshaker platform, I have been able to use my coins to really give me a lot of household stuff in particular. But much more than that, the icing on the cake for me is has been the Oneacademy teachings. I've been able to complete all 7 levels, and I can tell you, to me, it was a complete eye-opener. I thought I entered a whole new world. I was retired when I got started in this business from the teaching service in Trinidad and Tobago. And when I read or I went through the Oneacademy, I wondered what I was doing my whole life. Simply because the information that I received in the Oneacademy, it really, really did blow my mind. So it is that opened up my eyes to what was actually happening in the world of finance. And it helped me to understand what was happening then, what is happening now, and what is going to be taking place. So those of you on this call tonight, I really want to urge you, if you have not as yet gotten your Oneacademy package, please do so as soon as possible, because it is really, really a revolution. It is going to challenge your status quo. It is going to change your way of thinking, and it is going to open up your eyes to so many things that's happening around us that we take for granted. So I want to encourage you, get on board as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
Get on board as soon as possible. Well said. Well said. He mentioned he knows what